Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. We're looking at Sand Devil Necropolis again, and this is kind of a little bit of a different one. I know a lot of you are lower level farming, like myself, for example. I mean, if I was farming, I would be a low level farmer. I haven't even really started at all on this dungeon. That's okay. The point is that you don't need a lot of this oil to be able to, I mean, you need way too much of this oil to be able to upgrade your stuff, but you don't need like the high level stuff, really, right? The stats that you're getting, the bumps, they're not huge anyway. They're pretty limited, and the RNG of if it's even going to be useful is so outrageous. It's just frustrating. But that means that we don't really have to farm high stages to, you know, get what we want out of this dungeon. So farming stages like 11 isn't a bad way to go. And I was able to actually, in the test server, which I'm on right now, able to advance all the way up to stage 11 using Tyrant, just using Tyrant. I mean, he's a solo champ. We all know that. He can do that for you, but he's not the only one, right? If you can do this with Tyrant, there's a fair amount of champions that you can solo this dungeon with, right? There's a whole bunch of them. I'm sure you could do it with Bad Alcazar, probably even Urogrim, truthfully. You can do it with anybody that's going to be able to heal themselves at least a little bit, but more importantly, anybody that can just deal some passive damage, right? My Tyrant here, he doesn't really hit that hard, but what he does bring is HP burn, and I have a blessing on him. I have that smite blessing. That actually helps quite a bit, does a lot of damage. And so over the course of the fight, we're able to take down the boss. So if you have anybody that can place HP burn or poisons and do it in a fair amount and a considerable amount, especially when you are, because you only have that one small window to place debuffs when the boss is asleep. Doing it solo is really fortunate, right? Now, I know some people have been able to solo this with Rotos, and that can be a really fast farm at these lower levels, and totally say that's a great way to go. But, of course, be able to get your Rotos to be able to do that probably is going to take some ridiculous gear. Tyrant and champions like him are going to be considerably easier. Now, stage 11 is about as high as I can get with him, right? I can't really farm any higher with that, at least not with my gear, how I geared him out, but I don't feel like I went too crazy with him. He does have good stuff on him, though, to be fair. So, you know, this is just kind of an example of like how I built it in like a tankier, a slower, a more HP burn / poison type of, you know, long-term debuff sort of way. And it worked for me. Now, obviously, there's going to be some ranges. I'm sure you can slow him down, weaken him up a little bit, but this is what worked for me, and you can always make them tougher. His stats aren't end game crazy, right? They're late game good, but they're not end game crazy. So I don't think you have to worry about that too much if you want to build it. So let's take a look at how I built him, and then we can do the run real quick. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one that comes out. And of course, if you enjoyed today's music, we have that Soundstripe link down below in the pinned comment description of this video, and you can use code DeadwoodJedi to save 15%. So it's just Tyrant I got here, nobody else to showcase. So here I have him. I've got him in a regen set, and I really think that's all you need is a regen set. We also have these new Defiant set pieces, and I actually haven't even crafted any yet, but that would be a great combination to go with this, right? All you really need is some consistent healing on your champion, and you're in a good shape. Bringing something like Defiant in helps reduce the amount of damage they take from those big hits, because those are the only ones you have to worry about, the A2 and the A3 skill of the boss. Those are the ones that will kill you. The A1 is not really much of an issue. Now, I built mine with some resistance, like 310 resistance. Honestly, it helps, right? At these lower levels, it helps to be able to resist those decreased speeds specifically, but it's not, I don't think, crucial to it, right? The bigger thing is being fast enough, and that can be by, you know, building them fast. Like I have mine at 245 speed, but you don't necessarily need to do that either, I think. You can, you know, get around that some with your masteries as well, but the regen's going to be really, really important. I think that's going to be the crucial factor to all of this. And then that other set, I'm using it for accuracy, obviously, but there's other ways to go. You can definitely do it with, I think Defiant would probably be your next best option, maybe your best option, truthfully. So anyway, this is what I have here. Now, Tyrant doesn't heal himself up enough to be able to utilize something like Stalwart gear. I think if you were able to bring in a Battle Khazar or an Urogrim who have a lot of self-healing in their kits, you could actually probably just put him in stalwart and get away with that, and actually not just get away with it, but have really good success with it. I think that might be an optimal strategy to go with this, and you probably climb even higher than I am with Tyrant, because stalwart does a lot to mitigate damage, especially from those big hits. So that would be my recommendation there. As far as like how I have him built, you can see the stats here, right? 3,500 defense, 63,000 HP, 245 speed. I do have 100% crit rate, but honestly, he's not doing a lot of raw damage. It's all the HP burn and the smite. That's the only things that are doing any damage here. You got the accuracy, you got the resistance, right? So there's definitely some room here to, I would say, optimize this build further. I really do strongly feel that way. You know, when you're talking about solo champions, you can definitely get them up higher than I have this guy right here. So I think with that in mind, there's a lot of flexibility you have as far as building your champions and making them even better than I have mine built right now. So that would definitely be something I would, you know, I'd encourage you guys, if you're going to do this, if you're going to build this, you know, type of a champion to run these dungeons, I would definitely try and push these numbers up as much as I can, just so you get more out of it, obviously. Now, stage 11, he's also strong affinity. That definitely helps as well. Stage 12, I couldn't do it, even though it's void affinity. It was just like too much. So at least how I have him built right now. Now, as far as masteries go, I got him basically going down the support tree to get Eagle Eye just for more accuracy, and the defensive tree to help mitigate as much damage as possible. That's all we're trying to do here. Mitigate as much damage as we can, heal up as much as we can, and land our debuffs. And if we can do that, you know, we're going to be just fine. Now, as far as skills, I did set him up. He does like to use this A3, the ally protection with increased defense. We don't need that, and we don't want it. So that's definitely going to be a waste. So turn that off. And then I definitely prioritize his A2, the HP burn, because he won't use it if he gets low on health on his own. He'll just A1 all day long, and that's not what we want either. So those are the two things I had to do to make him work, but outside of that, it's nice and simple. It's easy solo champion for this, right? He's not the only one that can do this, like I said, but definitely, you know, for me and my account, I was like, this seems perfect. I got blessings on him, might as well use them. It's not a fast run, but it's not abysmally slow either. I think it's maybe somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. It's not crazy fast, but it's not crazy slow either. It really just depends how often he's able to land that HP burn, because that does a considerable amount of damage, and how many hits he can get in between. Getting that smite in is really important too. So those are kind of the big things with his kit, is, you know, just getting those turns in and landing those debuffs when we get a chance to, right? There goes HP burn. Haven't landed the smite. That's, you know, it's how it is sometimes, but those things do a lot of damage, and then we're able to, you know, pound through this pretty quickly. I think one thing I would like to do is just try taking his gear, try putting it on Husk, you know, because if you watch the run, the big thing is actually the regen gear. The regen is the massive part of this. We're withstanding most of the hits here. It's those max HP hits that are, you know, always difficult, right? But those big hits, the regen helps fill us back up. And that's all we need. We're getting that 15% every single turn, and that's enough to erase the max HP that's been dissipated. If we can continue that and just go fast enough so we get enough turns so that we're able to heal that back up, we're gonna be in good shape. But that's gonna be the big thing, right? So we gotta get, you know, we're getting about 2 hits in, and we're still losing about 10% of our max HP. If we get 3 hits in when the guy's asleep, that would be ideal. Then we'll be full back up to health every single time. And actually, that makes a lot of sense, right? If you think about it, right? The boss, every time he hits you, decreases 10% of your max HP. Well, there's 3 hits he's doing in between him going to sleep. So if I can take 3 turns in between, that's at 30%. I should be able to make it back up. So ideally, we're fast enough to take 3 turns. I mean, we're not, but ideally we would be. But that's probably going to be pretty fast speeds, considering the boss is going, what, 200 speed right now? And to get that all before he takes even a single turn in between the sleep, that's definitely tough, right? That's a harder thing for us to do, or it has 2 sleeps, right? But you know, that if we can do that, we make this a much faster run. But as it is, you can see this is about 2.5 minutes right now, 3-minute run, which is not too bad. I did this before without prioritizing that A2 ability, the HP burn, and it ran about 5 minutes. So that gives you kind of an idea of like how fast this run can be. But 234, that's not bad, you know, for a farming team, a solo farming team, that's not bad at all. And like I said, if you bring in food with him and you use those masteries where when people die you get faster, this is only going to make him better because he's only going to take more and more attacks, and he might actually get those 3 attacks we want to get in. So that's one of the things I would probably do, like going forward, trying to build him out even better, is bring in 3 pieces of food with him, or 4 pieces of food, and then come down and take this mastery right here, Spirit Haste, right? I'd probably skip Sniper. We don't need it, doesn't help him. So skip Sniper, take Spirit Haste instead, and then you can get an extra 24 speed on your champion without even trying. Or, you know, as an alternative too, if you're struggling to meet like some of the speeds that I have on mine, put that on, and now you don't need a 24 speed, right? It'll only help you speed up and do a little bit more damage. So that's kind of the idea. It's a pretty simple build, pretty easy to get through it. So hopefully this is, you know, something that you guys can take and build off of and go forward with, you know, as an alternative approach to beating this boss. So that's the video. Hopefully this worked for you guys. I would love to hear from you guys down below. What champions have you been able to solo this with, or seen other content creators? I know a lot of them have put out videos and stuff. What have you seen them solo this with? I would love to know, kind of get an idea of like champions that have been used. So maybe I can try some ones that haven't been used. That'd be kind of fun. You know, I just would like to hear from you guys, see what you think about that, and you know, get some thoughts on that. You know, one champion I was actually thinking about maybe trying to bring in was somebody like Baron, who has a decreased defense, can't be resisted. Obviously, you know, boss has to be asleep when that goes off. But, you know, building him in regen gear, or maybe even in, yeah, I guess it would have to be regen gear. Yeah, he wouldn't work. He doesn't have enough. His base stats are too low to be able to do that. Never mind. Forget that thought. But, you know, I keep thinking Husk would be good. Royal Guard would be good. There's other options of champions that we can build to be able to solo this boss. And I think that's a great option, especially early on, where maybe building a whole team is a lot of your gear, but you can build one guy really, really well. And so that's kind of, I think, the appeal of a champion or a team like this. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking by me. I appreciate you. Until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.